That is how I feel when the mirror shows me a stranger. Yeah. And I know they're just fragments of a world where your absence all I get to see. Take me back to the planet where you and I are still meant to be.
devil in a red dress. Call 911, I'm a killer. You know.
Find me in the corner of the room, not ready to resume. 'Cause like I'm taking, don't wanna be alone, but I'm not in the zone. I'm looking for somebody. I'm looking for somebody. Flying so close to where we belong, and we're trying to go somewhere new. And I try to crack this iceberg open till it shatters through the ocean. I wanna make shockwaves. I wanna make shockwaves with you. Gonna move the ocean. ocean current till the winds flood what's been burning. I wanna make shockwaves. I wanna make shockwaves with you. And I know I'm only getting higher till it feels like I can walk through fire. And I know I'm only getting higher till it feels like I can walk through fire. Trying to step back and see the view from above, 'cause I know that nothing lasts forever. And I try to crack this iceberg open till it shatters through the ocean. I wanna make shockwaves. I wanna make shockwaves with you. Gonna move the ocean current till the winds flood what's been burning. I wanna make shockwaves. I wanna make shockwaves with you. 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 Shockwaves with Shockwaves with you.
Suck me in slow, breathe me in and let me go. Filling the lungs inside you, and the blackened eyes make my way into your mind. Just to know what you knew, restless every time we start locking eyes. Lost control. Oh, it's paradise with honesty, but I'm in the dead of the night. Let the darkness take control. Open up your eyes till you're blinded by the lies, so you can see what you do. Restless every time we start locking eyes. Lost control. Oh, it's paradise with honesty, but in the dead of the night, teardrops on the floor. The pain is over. Feel the darkness take control.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to Valence League Week 3 as Hentai Haven take on Ward Saves the Lives, the green team. I'm joined in the casting booth by Moss Swan. I am, of course, your play-by-play caster, Milky Cereal, aka the Valence League Marble Racing Champion. I had to do it, I'm sorry.
Hello, everyone. As Milky put it so perfectly, I am going to be your color commentator for this evening's game. So very excited to be doing this, and first week doing it for the league. So very exciting for me.
Yeah, and same here. So we're both getting shoved in at the deep end for this match, and we were looking at some of the teams beforehand, looking at those comfort pick, the pocket picks, and what we could be expecting to see banned. Ari was one of those champions we were expecting along with the York, but there were a few other big champions that were on the list as well.
Yeah, absolutely. So Lee Sin was definitely a champion in contention. So we were expecting potentially that was just going to be a handshake kind of operation going on there. I won't ban it because you want it and you want it as well, so I won't ban it. We were expecting potentially a Senna or a Twitch ban.
Yeah.
Leona was an expected ban, though, definitely to come through, though.
Yeah, and seeing the Vel'Koz being banned and the Kindred actually getting locked in here for Hentai Haven. So this is an interesting pick and something that neither of us were really expecting when I was looking at Wavy Lads Champ Pool. I was looking at all those aggressive early game junglers, but right on the opposite end of the spectrum as the aggressive jungler itself, the Lee Sin picked up for Craft.
Yeah, and we were expecting well, to be honest, we were expecting Wavy to probably pick up the least, and they both actively play the champion. So I was very surprised. The Kindred, I'm guessing maybe he's got. I'm guessing Wavy has maybe been playing this on like maybe another account or something. But I'm a little bit flabbergasted, honestly. Or maybe it was an older season champion that maybe he played actively.
And of course, Moss Swan, you, myself, we're both Leona one-trick players, so we hate to see the Leona ban, but both of our second champions is the Nautilus.
Yep.
We've got the Nautilus locked in for yourself, and I quite like this pickup here. A lot of aggression, arguably the second best support at the moment in the meta as well, as the Karthus getting hovered, so it's looking like this is a Kindred ADC flex pick, coming in for the side of HH.
So that could also be Kindred maybe being flex top. But it's probably Kindred bot, like you said. I do agree with you. The Nautilus also, as you said, one of the strongest ones. I mean, yourself does have a very strong win percentage. He's also been playing the champion for a very long time, on and off. So not too surprised to see the Nautilus picked up there. With a Syndra coming in for Delight.
Yeah, and Delight. Actually, Delight is on my notes. He is the ADC for Hentai
Yes.
Haven, and it's Flario who has been substituted by AJ Tracy. And this would explain why we weren't expecting this Kindred pick to come through. However, you know, they've already flexed the Kindred once. Don't forget that Syndra could get flexed around, so who knows what might be in store.
Absolutely, that could be a Syndra bot, Kindred top, going wild with this. Anything is possible. I'm not really too sure what the ban's coming in. Probably, I'm guessing Ward Save Lives. Green probably want to just make sure they take any aggressive champions that could still be sitting under Hentai Haven's pocket. So the Swain makes sense. Bombing Dude, one of his most played champs in the top lane.
Yeah, precisely so. But I want to talk a little bit, before we actually go into this Kindred pick, you know, we were talking about how in the top lane, there'd be a bit of a battle for the potential Ornn pick, and we were expecting the Kled to get banned away from yourself.
Yes.
So let's see if that respect ban does come through.
Yeah, and looking down the rest of the picks, Kraft has played other champions in the past in the jungle, but the Lee was the most prevalent one. But in a banning sense, the Jax?
Ooh.
Okay.
Which does mean that the Fiora and the Kled are both open. And I want to see now whether WSLG will leave that as the counter pick. And if they're going to take in the ADC, and I am expecting that Xayah to get picked up for Bao. He played in all three games.
Xayah was banned at the end there.
Ah, pardon me. Wait. Wait, no, not Zyra, Xayah.
Oh, Xayah.
Yeah.
Sorry, my bad. They sound so similar.
I know. But the Poppy getting locked in, and okay, so it's going to be the ADC counterpick coming through, as HH will be forced to leak the deets and show us what their comp is.
That is a little bit surprising. I wasn't quite expecting yourself to go for the Poppy. Obviously, we was, as you were saying, the Ornn, potentially Kled or Fiora.
Why do we have 3 junglers? Why do we have 4 junglers?
Okay, so this might be the support playing like something like Volibear support, which is legit.
Okay.
It's legit in the most vague sense, but it's
but it's legit.
It's still legit. I've played it. It's fine. It's totally fine. You have a decent amount of CC at the very early levels, and you have the surprising tankiness because of the passive. So it's not too crazy. I'm guessing
I have seen Warwick top as well. Apparently, it's a very strong pick. And
yeah,
indeed, the Xayah picked up as well as we anticipated.
So, looking at this just bare bones, I do have a more preference towards Ward Saved Lives comp, just because it's got that very standard.
I wonder why.
It's got that very standard initiation. Obviously, you get to play Nautilus with Xayah. Obviously, you have the Poppy ult with to disengage any of the really annoying champions. And then obviously Lee Sin is very sticky, and the Victor just kind of doing this relevant damage. As it looks to be, in a few seconds, we're going to be getting the overall rundown for Hentai Haven.
Yeah, and okay, I want to go into some deets on the Kindred bot lane, and as you mentioned, we've hit that 20-second mark, which is the last point in which teams are allowed to switch champions between roles. Between players, I should say. So what I want to point out is Kindred, you know, while we always describe her as, you know, this late game hyper carry, potentially more stacks that she get, the bigger the range, and as a result, you know, the more influential she is. But Kindred bot lane, it deals a surprising amount of damage early on. And from my knowledge, you always pair it up with some form of CC support, something like a Leona, something like a Nautilus. But, you know, WSL Green, if they're not careful about this, they could find themselves all of a sudden having donated a couple of kills over to this Kindred, and then all of a sudden find themselves in a very, very difficult bot lane against a Volibear and Kindred, and trying to wonder how on earth do we actually play this matchup.
Yeah, it's definitely gonna be an interesting one. The one thing that Ward Save Lives do have is obviously that Nautilus very good at both engage but also
Yeah.
disengage. He's able to get himself into spots and out of spots very well, and he's also able to protect the Zaya with his E rather effectively. And the second he hits 6, Zaya in theory should never die because he's got ult, she's got ult. In theory, the Kindred just can never get on top or anywhere near the range of Zaya. And I do believe they actually have very similar ranges. So it's not going to be kind of the scenario where Kindred can kind of outrange someone. She's normally actually a very short ranged champion. So it's going to be even better for this Nautilus, arguably.
Yeah, and I want to take a look as well at the overarching perspective in terms of some of the spells, because one TP coming in from both sides of the rift in that top lane, both mid lane is opting against the TP, actually with Wakada Chewy picking up the cleanse, so going for some of
Mm.
that safety against that Elise Cocoon.
Yeah, I mean, the team does actually have a surprising amount of CC built into them with the Elise Cocoon, the Syndra Stun, the Volibear, um, and also I believe you could correct me on this, but I believe you can cleanse Warwick's ult.
Ooh, I believe so, yes, I
Yes,
believe so.
so that like that cleanse now is like negating so many abilities. It just makes total sense to take that sort of thing.
Yeah, and it's something that you do see a lot of times, especially when you play against something like a Leona, but more specifically in the bot lane. I personally am a fan of having just loads of TPs on your team, just so that you can rotate around the map just super quickly and combat anything that does come through. Something that we were talking about before we did come live is when we were looking at Wavy Lads Champion Pool, we were saying, oh look, he might play something like the Elise, but then we were looking over at a bombing dude in the top lane and saying, well, he doesn't have any champions that really matches this Elise aggression. And we always talk about, jungle laner 2v2 interactions. Is not an Ornn, is not an Urgot in the top lane, it's a Warwick. How do we see the top lane and the jungler of Elise really meshing together here?
Very difficultly. I first did get told in my ear that apparently you can't cleanse the Warwick ult, but you can
Oh,
QSS it. So
okay.
that makes sense. I was a little bit hesitant. I wasn't sure, but I did get told that you can't do that. But the top lane, so the Warwick Poppy matchup is in theory favored more to the Poppy because you have that
Yeah.
disengage. So whenever Warwick really wants to try and get on top of you and get them out, nay drama whatsoever. They obviously Elise is one of these junglers that very like come level 3 wants to be ganking, and it's going to be difficult to really try and get on top of this Poppy just through all of her ability. She's very tanky inherently through her base stats. So it's going to be a difficult one, but Elise has taken electrocute, so we're saying there's a chance, obviously.
Yeah. And I do want to take a look at the mid lane as we are in Champ Select, so we should be getting underway very shortly. Syndra versus Victor, we always look at Syndra as this, pushing powerhouse in the mid lane, shoving the waves, rotate maybe as well with Wavy Lad on this Elise. Do we expect to see maybe Craft looking towards the mid lane a little bit?
I would expect so. Syndra obviously has pretty awful disengage outside of again using her abilities, well her W and E really. So Craft rather should have a very effective gank onto the Syndra, thanks to the Victor, but also vice versa. Syndra and Elise actually have a very good combo. Arguably has 0 disengage, so I would 100% say it would be far more in the favor of Victor in the mid lane, Syndra rather in the mid lane matchup.
Yeah. And even just looking at this as a generic 5v5, I am siding with the side of WSLG in terms of this composition, but this is a big cheese comp from HH. It feels so it can go either way, and I feel like it does depend on how those first 5-10 minutes do play out.
Yeah, and coming in, looking at these players' uh, builds as such, it seems to be a very standard kind of situation as a whole. Everybody's going for very standard opening items so far.
Yeah, nothing too crazy coming in. But 5-man stack or 5-man invade, we could say, from Hentai Haven as they make their way into the bottom side of the map. And let's see if they can catch themselves any juicy little fishies here. And it will be Bauer who is on the menu, but he will spot out the invade fairly early on.
Yeah, we've got this 5-man. Let's see. Nah, just poke, swing, and a miss.
It does mean that yourself is able to drop down a little bit of a ward. We were talking about the substitution for HH with the AJ Tracy coming into the ADC role. Yourself dropping into the support, and it is I am a Toei guys who takes his place in the top lane, which is why we weren't seeing those bans towards the likes of the Kled and the Fiora.
That does actually make a lot more sense. We did have it the wrong way round, but it can sometimes become very difficult when you've got players playing 2 to 3 different roles in solo queue. So when you come to team environments, you don't really know always, unless it's 100% what they do.
Both junglers will be starting on their bottom side. Wavy Lad picking up the red buff with Craft over on the blue. So we might be seeing those early ganks towards that top side.
Yeah, and that's something obviously you did bring up earlier, Milky, that obviously they might want to go towards this top side, start trying to aggressively fight in that top lane. That might be somewhere where they want to pay some more attention. I think the mid lane is probably more valuable to probably start scaling. But it's going to be an interesting one. Definitely some unorthodox decisions have been made by the players here.
Yeah, precisely so. And I'm just waiting to see this aggression in the bot lane, because I do think, you know, it is all going to be in this bot lane with the level 2 now picked up. But yourself hits a minion with the hook. And now Tracy just looking a little bit more aggressive. As a Wolf's Frenzy just drops down a little bit of extra damage onto Bauer.
So the one slight thing that is going to be interesting in the mid lane is Chewy did decide to go for the Dawn's Ring to help pots, but they've also got the Stopwatch because that's the rune they decided to take. So they are going to actually have just more gold inherently throughout the beginning stages, and if the light hasn't noticed that, it could cause them some problems.
Yeah, and oh, that is a good feather blade recall, and finds the damage onto Tracy and allows the dredge line to come through on top. Double kill though coming in for the bombing dude in the top lane.
That was just kind of a mismatch. I mean, Hentai Haven just got on top of Towley guy before Craft was anywhere near that, and it's just kind of Craft was just sadly in a situation where he just couldn't do anything.
I guess I should thank my camera for not moving to the top lane at the very start, so kind of missed that a little bit. I do apologize. But yeah, I want to go back to this stopwatch point that you mentioned, because I think it's a good pickup regardless from Wakada Chewy, because that, you know, we talked about the fact that you've got that infinite duress from the Warwick that will be jumping on top of them, and having the Zhonya's or a stopwatch will just provide, you know, so much more defense in any of these engages from the side of Hentai Haven.
Yeah, one thing that did happen that I kind of forgot is that Craft, when he died, he actually died to Bombing Dude, which handed over the buffs. Ooh, which is going to make things very, very awkward.
Yeah, and I am Toei on this Poppy is just going to struggle so much more as in the mid lane. You're like starting to get a bit of an advantage, starting to be able to shove these lanes as the hammer shot coming through, but not finding that much damage. And now Bombing Dude turning this around, won't go for the engage under turret, and we'll just be happy with that short trade, and we'll just heal up there now, courtesy of that red buff, and is already over half HP.
Yeah, and Towley Guy has already used his TP to get back to lane from that first initiation that did happen with Wavy Lad and Bombing Dude with Craft as well. He's now also at a level disadvantage, so it's going to be very difficult for Towley Guys to not fall horrendously behind and potentially not even die to an early level just dive.
But these two early kills on for Bombing Dude, and Elise versus Elise in two early game junglers, and as things stand, it's currently Wavy who is coming out on top in that respect. And maybe we'll see some focus towards this bottom side of the map as Tracy and Adorkable starting to push into Bauer and yourself.
And I mean, to be honest, the thing we got to think about is the way which direction are these teams going to build it in.
Yeah.
I'm assuming the Zaya is obviously going to go for a pretty standard build, but the Kindred's a huge question mark for me personally. I'm really not sure the direction that they're going to decide to take for this. They've got so many options open to them. I'm so used to jungle items being the first kind of priority for them.
I mean, if you're taking a smite, you could have still gone for those jungle items. But when I've seen the Kindred, it generally tends to be, you know, your standard kind of threat. Interested to see, though, whether Tracy will go for, you know, something like that Infinity Edge early on, or maybe just straight up go Storm Razor. But here we go, the engage now, flash forward. Did he find the flip onto yourself? Flashes down for Wavy. He misses the cocoon. It doesn't matter because the damage is there. And that is a Tracy onto the scoreboard.
That was very well timed by the whole team, like knowing that they've got the flash up, that yourself is going Hexa Flash was hugely relevant in that kind of spot. So with the stun CC lock that ended up happening, he just wasn't able to get anywhere out. Yeah,
and you know, coming into this game, I think both yourself, Mask, Swan, and me, we were expecting this to be quite one-sided in favor of Ward Saves Lives, but you know, we still got a while to go. But Hentai Haven looking on top of this game so far.
Yeah, looking on top and getting that ward, and getting that dragon, rather, the air dragon, so we won't be dragon soul. But we've seen now that Chewy has actually gone back and went for the Hexacore MK1, so now they've got that upgrade going there, some vision wards.
Bob. Okay, that's just sad. You have to feel bad for Craft there.
Yeah. That was just an unfortunate scenario to actually come in, really wanting to get Krabbies, but can't get the Krabby.
Okay. I just want to go back to that kill in the bot lane because you know there's something that could have actually massively saved WSLG, and you know what that was?
What?
It would have been a ward in the tri-bush. It would have actually spotted Wavy Lad making his way down. And ladies and gents at home, you know, if you ever shove in bot lane, you know, you have to make sure as a support you're warding that tri-bush so you don't get gankarinoed.
No, and you just need to stay on top of it. It's just be aware of the situations and your surroundings.
And, you know, Masks One, there might be some supports out there, they'll say, but Milky, I don't have any wards, you know, I'm out of wards, I can't ward the tri-bush, what should I then do? And Mask One, what would your response to that be? I'll put you on the spot with this one. It's don't push the lanes, folks. You know, what's the term for it? All bark, no bite. As the Rift Herald is going to get picked up. And it appears like we're having a bit of a technical issue. So it wasn't that Mask Swan couldn't respond to the question. It's just that his mic died on us.
I'm back.
Okay, great.
Apologies, Milky. I didn't want to leave you hanging like that.
It was amazing. Like, I asked the question and then you just disappeared. And I was just thinking, oh no, have I said something wrong?
I'm that support that says no every time.
Yes.
So what was your question?
Okay, so my question, you haven't heard the answer to this.
So even better.
Yeah, the stream have all heard my rendition of the answer. So, Master Swan, if you don't have any wards, and you don't have any wards to place in the tri-bush and you're pushing up, what should you do if you can't ward that tri-bush?
Yeah.
Okay, never mind.
You keep cutting out for me. I'm guessing it's just my end.
I will, just to be certain, just turn down my good old sensitivity on the old Discordies. Hopefully that should fix any issues that do exist. But approaching the 10-minute mark in the game, 3 kills to 0 for Hentai Haven as a cleanse coming through from Wakada Chewy. And there comes Craft. He finds the insect, and that is a killer going over as the Unleashed Power does nothing at all. And finally, WSL Green onto the scoreboard.
Yeah, and that was just a very standard situation that happens, and that was just Chewy just playing what they should do. I mean, I don't think there's anything else to say there.
Yeah. But good to see WSLG getting onto the scoreboard. We do have an Infernal coming up in just over a minute's time, so that will be the focus for both sides. The Rift Herald already picked up for Kraft, and I'm surprised he didn't actually drop it mid lane instantly after picking up the kill. In fact, he's made his way down south. He's going to be dropping down Shelly to pick up some plates to donate over to Bauer and yourself.
So the only reason I can assume that they wanted to go in the direction of the bot lane is to obviously assist with kind of pushing, getting one of these lanes, and then potentially rotating around.
Yep.
Which it doesn't seem too crazy. But at that same time, I would prefer to have seen it mid or even top, arguably. Assist the top laner, so obviously you can try and get more dragon control throughout the whole duration of the game.
Oh, the infinite duress, but it's right into the gravity field. It's a good scatter of the weak, finds the damage onto Kraft, and that's going to be the kill going over to Delay. Wakata Chewy on the run as Wavy Lad making his way. Can he find the cocoon, flash away from Wakata, and will see him out to safety, but another kill going over to Hentai Haven as a dredge line almost finding its mark in the bot lane.
Oh, and Kraft just kind of was in a spot where he didn't think that the light was going to have that damage, and wow, Scatter the Weak deals a lot. I think as Kraft learned first and foremost.
And it's just Cinder in general, like all of a sudden it just comes online, especially with that unleashed power. Wasn't even available in that fight, as a couple of turret plays are going to be getting a loss for WSLG in the mid lane.
Yeah, I mean, I do have to give my credit to Wavy Lad. He did land a rather important cocoon in that fight, so
yeah.
Can't complain there. Obviously, Towie got some free time here.
He's got some free time, but he's only going to get one play, and he has to be careful because Bombing Dude making his way up, but this does all mean that WSL Green will be able to pick up this Infernal Drake. Wavy Lad on the way, but just a little bit too far back right now.
Yeah, and they should get this dragon safe and sound, which does mean we won't be getting an Infernal Dragon on this Rift.
It is going to be the Ocean Soul that will bring a life to the Rift, and I would say to this game, but the game has been fairly entertaining so far. 5 kills already, and it's just had moments of explosions in terms of games.
Yeah, we haven't quite seen that full big team fight yet, but we've seen a lot of these 2 3-man fights where it's kind of been surprising the direction they've been going sometimes. Kraft just hasn't been able to get into the right spot and been caught out, sadly, in on his 2 deaths. So, I mean, I wouldn't blame him. It's just been unfortunate.
And I did miss that first kill, but, you know, we saw him getting caught out in his own jungle. You know, after he's lost the Scuttle Crab as well to Bombing Dude, he just walked up and, you know, Jaws of the Beast picks it up. Scuttle Crab, though, this time is going to be going to the way of Hentai Haven, potentially, but Kraft comes in, he takes it, he says, this time it's a mine. Depth Charge comes in, so much damage. Tracy doesn't even get a chance to use a Lamb's Respite. Flash away from Adorkable as the teleport getting channeled in from Bombing Dude, but there are no objectives for Hentai Haven to look towards, and it will just be a late response from the blue side.
Yeah, and I mean, that is partly coming through just the power. They caught them out. 2, the power of Azaya getting that Essence Reaver first item. And that it was partly an item advantage that the team had there. The other thing, when it does come to item advantage, is Bombing Dude has actually picked up that Trinity Force. So he's hit that very early, like, kind of power spike. Only
that's a lot of damage onto Wakata and Chewy, but it will not be enough as the light under turret starts taking aggro, and yourself is nearby, could be looking for the rotation, but Bombing Dude, he can smell the fear from Wakata, but will not go for anything as Bauer picks up the first turret in the bottom lane. And, you know, we are talking about items. Tracy looking for that Infinity Edge, has got all of the components for it now.
Yeah, it's been a little bit surprising to see that he decided to go in that direction. Oof, getting out just in time.
Close as you like. I am Towie playing with fire. 4 kills to 2 now, 14 minutes in, 1 Drake apiece. And the gold is very, very even. Rift Herald Kelly up on the Rift. And could be getting focused by either team. And it does look like Ward Save Lives will be making their way up. And should be getting control over the Rift Herald.
Yeah, Rift Herald is going to be a very important thing for both Wards Save Lives and Hentai Haven to fight over. It's going to give them a lot of early game map control. depending on which way it goes. Obviously, first turret has been taken down by WSL.
Yep. And yourself has completed the quest. Adorkable is yet to complete his quest. I don't think he's too far off the completion schedule of the week. Almost eclipsed yourself, but will not come through just yet. There's just a bit of wave clear from Bauer in the mid lane.
Yeah, and I am wondering the direction of this build of the Kindred, and potentially if Tracy is just sitting on gold for just the sake of sitting on gold at the moment. It's definitely this concerning thing where they've definitely got the gold for to go back, they just haven't yet. So
Yeah.
I hope they don't get into a team fight which puts them in an awkward spot.
Yeah,
Because this
precisely
Zyre
so.
is significantly stronger at the moment.
And it's kind of surprising how far ahead Bauer is, considering that he's not even 10 CS up, and it's Tracy who has a kill and Bauer doesn't. So it is rather strange as Bombing Dude takes a massive chunk of damage from Wakada Chewy, and Bauer just going to sit in this bot lane, just farm up under turret. There's nothing that Hentai Haven can do, but they're going to make their way up to the rift. Now, yourself and Kraft in a bit of a tricky spot, and here comes Bombing Dude as well. Richard not going to be able to find his Marcus Kraft with the Warthog out, but do they want to fight Infinite Duress? The focus onto the Victor, there's the Unleashed Power, but the stopwatch buys some time. Kraft making his way in, the Nautilus is down. Wakada Chewy will fall as well. Towie stepping forward, but he's just going to get chunked down. Surely Scatter of the Week, it finds the mark onto Bauer. Kraft finds a kill onto a Dorkball as that will be the Elite E landing onto Kraft. No further kills. Scatter of the Week will buy some time. Kraft not going to be able to land the Sonic Wave. And the Warwick steps forward, but going to take a big chunk of damage. Cocoon lands a lot of damage. That's Kraft getting taken down. Heroic Charge will land onto the Elite, but now the turnaround onto Towie. The Red Smite will drop. Towie nowhere to go. He lands the ult, but he can't knock them out. And that's a double kill that will be going over onto Wavy Lad. 7 kills to 3 in favor of Hentai Haven.
Wow, what a fight. I expected that to have just been like a very shake of the hands, support for support, and for WSL to just kind of back off. But they really went for the fight, and then it actually didn't go the way they expected, which was they got punished for being far too aggressive, and now they are going to be giving up this for no reason, this dragon. But
the Ocean Drake will fall. However, as you can see on your notifications on the screen, the one reason why I think WSL Green could have actually come out ahead of that is that they did actually secure Kelly, who does get a charge off in the mid lane. Did it get the tower? No, not quite. Almost does. So it's just that little bit of extra map pressure potentially for WSLG here, but it's a shame that they have given over one Ocean Drake, which will be very big on the likes of the Warwick and the Body Bear.
yeah, a little bit surprising that they did decide to just drop it in the mid lane. They could have done a slight push and definitely have gotten down the top turret for losing a little bit of the damage from Shelly, but definitely being able to get at least one, maybe even two charges on it. So slightly surprising to just see them very quickly drop it. I guess trying to respond to that dragon, but they were never going to be doing it fast enough for the dragon response. So questionable, but interesting at least.
And I think, you know, this is all kind of coming down to who gets the fights on their terms. You know, the last fight, it was Hentai Haven who were finding the initiation in the right spot. And, you know, Bao was just completely stuck out of the fight. He couldn't get any damage down. You know, you change that fight, you change the positioning of Bao so that, you know, he can drop down some feathers, find a, you know, a blade caller, and all of a sudden that fight completely changes, I feel.
No, I do totally agree. Bauer just basically having no impact in that last fight, basically kind of put them in a really good spot. But that's why they did decide to keep following, because they thought, now we've got Bauer, we can actually do something. But sadly, it just wasn't relevant. It was a bit too late for that fight, because already health bars have been chunked down to at least half.
And now Delight in the top lane as both bot lanes have rotated mid. Scatter of the Week finds his mark onto Wakada Chewy, but he's already been burnt down fairly significantly by the Death Ray.
Yeah, and as we can see, the Kindred Tracy has actually picked up the Infinity Edge.
I think we're going to be getting a pause in. Yeah, there we go.
He DC'd, but then he reseed.
DC and Reese. Always good to see the reconnect. So we should be able to get underway fairly quickly as we did see that reconnect. I was getting a bit worried when I was just seeing him standing around and taking some poke from Tracy. I was like,
Yeah.
this does not look good.
So in this pause, we've got.
Yeah.
I kind of want to discuss this Volibear support so far because it's actually
Right.
been somewhat relevant in some of these fights. Now he's only got one assist from that very early kill, but it does seem that it's just kind of I'm going to soak up all the damage and that's going to be it.
I guess it's been weird because I haven't. It sounds odd as someone who's casting this game, but I felt like I haven't seen enough of it. I haven't seen enough of it in this game to see what it's actually doing. And I'm interested to see how it will scale in these fights, you know, when, you know, the supports become more relevant in tanking up the damage, in peeling for your ADC. And I mean, for sure, Volibear has a lot of peel in these fights, and I actually think Adorkable has made it through the hardest part of the game as a support.
I would agree with you. I'm interested in his build. I would assume they're going to go like nightly.
This is a lot of damage in the bot lane onto Towie the Repel as on top. And I thought Poppy was supposed to be a tank.
I mean, I think partly they didn't just... Towie just didn't really respect the damage that could come out of Bombing Dude and Wavy Lad there. He just assumed he could also ult them away if there was any kind of concern and ulted a bit too late. That's just the nature of it sometimes.
Yeah, and I guess that's what happens when you're full armor and Elise turns up and drops a full combo on you. And I think Howie gets the hint and has picked up that null magic mantle, and I'm sure we're going to be seeing the Spectre's cowl following up shortly.
Yeah. So we see, obviously, Nautilus going for the Zeke's Convergence, which I do actually like very much. It helps a lot by putting it onto someone like the Lee Sin or the Poppy in large team fights, just to kind of really help with that extra the frost that you do get when you ult.
Did you just say put the Zeke's Convergence on the Lee Sin or Poppy instead of on the Xayah?
Yes.
Okay, explain this to me because, yeah.
Yeah, so I actually really like putting it on actually the kind of champions like Lee Sin a lot more. Poppy is far less of a better idea, but because Lee Sin actually has really fast auto attacks, relatively speaking, and because he gets so quickly in the middle of the team fight, you get you get both parts of the Zeke's Convergence going as part of it.
Right.
Because your ally attacks still burn. Yeah. Which help, and because Lee Sin has a very fast auto attack, relatively speaking, it actually helps. Now, obviously, you whip it on the Xayah, but you're not always going to be with Xayah.
But you're a support, so you should be with Xayah. I can't agree with you on this. I mean, Zeke's Convergence, something that gives.
See, I leave my AD carry a lot.
Right. Okay, I see what kind of support you are now.
I leave them. I leave them. Well, the great thing about Zeke's is that it has that basically 0%. So you can just put it on one champion, and then when you're in a different spot, you can put it on a completely different champion that you're near, even if you're just going for a 2v2 fight. You don't get punished like Nightly Valor, rather.
The thing is, it is the same, because after it does get used in a fight, it is still on a pretty high cooldown. And
True.
Of course...
but you're also on a cooldown.
That's true. Ocean Drake has started up. Here comes the contestant. Will not get stolen, but this is a big fight. A lot of damage comes out, and there comes the Feather Storm, but the Poppy ult does not synergize, and it knocks everyone out of the Blade Caller. Hentai Haven will come out completely on top, picking up 3 kills for Zilt. And now they'll look to push in on the mid lane, and potentially could even look for the Baron.
Yeah. So, Warsave Live, at best case scenario for them that they can take from it is they got the draft.
Oh no, this isn't looking good. Tracy taking a lot of damage, and the Lamb's Respite will come through just as a precaution. One extra down for the side of HH, but they will continue pushing in the mid lane. But I wish we could see a replay of that, because that ult from Towie was so unfortunate. It essentially saved 2 members of Hentai Haven there.
Yeah, or at least the damage that could have come through from the rest of the team. It was... Oh, it just doesn't work. They don't synergize at all. I also saved them from the Victor ult as well.
And I'd be interested to know whether Towie was just looking for the knock-up and maybe overcharged the ult. Because if he was going for that
Maybe.
knockback, that should have come through right at the start of the fight to turn it into, you know, a 5v3 or a 5v4.
Yeah, maybe it was just a miscalculation. I mean, obviously the Poppy ult does take a few seconds to actually fully channel, so might have just been a slight miscommunication problem there.
And, you know, we look at the most fed member of the side of WSLG, and it is Bauer on this side, but he just can't seem to find the damage.
No.
I'm not gonna lie, yourself putting the Zeke's convergence on Bauer will definitely help. I cannot agree with you on putting the Zeke's convergence on someone who is not even auto-attacking in a fight. It makes zero sense to me.
See, I'm all about it. I'm all about it. I have trust that everyone's going to auto attack half the time a lot more in low elo than actually use their abilities.
DC's an Elise. Yes, that Elise is going to be auto-attacking in a
I
team.
mean,
I'm gonna put my Zeke
Elise
on that
has an
champion.
auto attack steroid, so I mean, now I'm finding the justification.
Oh no. Right. Anyway, Baron is up. That is a focus for both teams here, trying to establish some vision control, and it is going the way of Hentai Haven. And you know, wards do save lives, and Hentai Haven have got the gist of that. And I'm sure WSLG will be looking to set up some more vision as a death brush coming in from HH. Can they find the pick on Cross? That's a lot of damage, and the cocoon will land on top, but yourself is there just for a bit of extra PL, a bit of a scare factor.
Yeah, and the great thing about this is Bombing Dude can just split push very aggressively. He knows he can kill Tally guys, so he's not worried about it. He gets this free farm, push up the bot lane, and also has the teleport just to come in if it does look like there's going to be a 5v5 team fight. He does have to worry, obviously, about Poppy's ult, Keeper's Verdict, to potentially prevent him from having that, but it should be totally fine in the grand scale of things. He can just walk back far enough, and he can also still just kill Tally.
The 5-man collapse from HH in the bot lane. I'm not going to pretend I'm a fan of this with that outer turret still standing in the top lane. I would like to see HH focus their attention that side to get a bit more map control around the Baron.
Yeah, Chewy's just currently pushing that top side for them, which is a little bit surprising.
Bit of poke damage coming through as a rapid fire cannon has been picked up for Tracy. So at that 50% crit mark as is a Bauer, but I'm starting to feel Tracy's just going to have that more damage output, just can stay in those fights without a fear of dying because he does have that Lamb's Respite, whereas Bauer always has to be that little bit more careful about the output, the burst damage from the likes of the Syndra and the Elise.
Yeah, the only thing he does obviously have going for them, Bauer has, is obviously the Featherstorm on the Xayah, which obviously basically can get you out of most situations, but it is rather sad to use that for a defensive spot than an aggressive spot. And obviously Bauer is getting further on their build, but we saw Tracy now pick up the rapid fire cannon. That's going to really help in a lot of these team fights. Obviously, we're getting that further range overall, and obviously we now see that Wavy Lad has picked up the Rise Crystal Scepter.
And we're getting to that point where I feel like now is a good point to start to discuss, you know, the scaling of both these. You've got a Kindred and a Zion, both of them do scale well. You've got the Syndra and a Victor, both of them scale well. In my opinion, is slightly favored towards Wakada Chewy. But do we think that if this does get past, you know, that 35 to 40 minute mark, it is just going to be a one-sided affair?
It potentially might just become a very equal thing. It's going to depend on obviously where the scaling is. Obviously, far earlier scaling, obviously they are significantly further ahead in their builds.
This is aggressive. The Dragon Rage kick comes in onto Wavy, but can they find the damage? Craft is already taken down super low. The Lamb's Respite by so much. Popping in the middle of everything. Sorry, that's yourself on the Nautilus. Flash away, Tracy will survive. That's the shutdown. They find the Warwick. They find the Elise as well. And WSLG are finally online. They find it 2 kills for nothing. And now they can restart on the Ocean Drake. No jungler up for Hentai Haven. And this will be a clean pickup. But Tracy looking aggressive. Stepping into the brush. Will find a bit of poke damage. But has to be careful. Dredgeline going to be able to find his bug. And that is going to be the kill. Adorable. Doesn't matter how adorable you are. You will get taken down. Death Ray will not be able to clip the light, and this might be WSLG looking for the Baron setup as well.
Yeah, getting that 3 for 1 and the Dragon is just so huge. That really does open the door a large amount for ward save lives. And now getting this mid lane turret really opening up the map for them as well, which means they can press the assault, relatively speaking, onto it, having all of those outer turrets, and now can prep for a Baron. And also, they also have the Dragon Emblem. They are now always threatening that against Hentai Haven.
Yeah. We've seen the last Whisper getting picked up for the Kindred here. Oh, Wakada, Chewy, that was getting close. Wavy, misses the Cocoon. But I'm interested about this last Whisper pickup because that is entirely focused towards the Taui. Not yourself, who hasn't really picked up any armor yet. So
yeah,
I don't know if that's a worthwhile pickup because I would still like the crit because I'm not seeing these as those, you know, your kind of standard front to back team fights. You know, Tracy's got the Dancer Barrows, can reposition quite easily, and I would like to see more focus, you know, to anyone else other than Taui, essentially.
Yeah, the last Whisperer doesn't really make a lot of sense when you actually look across the builds of all the other champions kind of in this game. It does help somewhat getting through that base armor that obviously every champion has just built into them to help potentially get closer to that true damage idea. But I don't think we're really in that kind of place where Tracy really needs to be building this last Whisperer as a third item. I think potentially the more attack speed or, as you were saying, crit would be far more relevant. Yeah, do have to agree with you on that. A little bit surprised. Doesn't make a huge amount of sense. I think there were a few other items they could have gone for which might have been far more relevant, but that might have been a team suggestion overall.
And one thing I do want to highlight, if our fantastic production could very kindly press the X button, is the distribution of gold, because it's very even in the overarching scheme of things, but, you know, it's a battle between the top lane and the bot lane. A Bauer versus a Bombing Dude, and we're getting to that stage where an ADC is starting to get more and more relevant in fights, which is exactly what I feel that we saw in that fight around the Drake.
Yeah, that was just a huge, like, gold difference while it was equal. Just HH were actually behind because they hadn't spent so much of their gold going into that fight. And potentially, it's very difficult to obviously always keep on top of that and have a good idea of where the opponent's gold is. But obviously, if you have a vague idea of where you're with your gold, and if you're about the same CS and similar kind of kills, you can probably do the quick math and just go, oh, they should have about this much in total. So I can probably think, they'll probably need to go back in the next few minutes.
Yeah, now Wavy has to be careful, and I do want to emphasize Kraft playing at that fight well last time, finding the insect play onto Wavy, which just turned the fight massively in WSLG's favor. And if you can find something like that again, that would be absolutely massive. And similarly, Wavy needs to be careful, as does the likes of Tracy and Delight. But Kraft stepping really far forward, has to be careful. Oh, the Cocoon doesn't land, but so much output of damage. Kraft has nowhere to go. He'll try the water, but he will get taken down, and Baron is up on the Rift as well. Ward saves lives, and that is why you have to make sure you have vision of the river bushes.
Yeah, that was kind of annoying for Wavy, obviously, to miss that Cocoon, but Adora just coming in clutch, going, it's okay, mate. I've got the knockback. It's fine. He's now in the middle of all of us. He's gone. Dunzo. Now they get to take this Baron.
Taui was on the bottom side of the map. He's making his way up, but he's going to be too late. Can Ward save live find any way? Oh, the damage output is insane. Infinite duress. That's the shutdown for Bombing Dude. He'll get taken down very low. Chaos Storm picks up the... What the hell? That is the Steel Bauer picked that one up with a Feather Storm. That is actually crazy. And WSLG have just turned the fight with a simple press of one button from Bauer. The E comes in a clutch.
I mean, losing Chewy for Bombing Dude, definitely, especially when you pick up that Baron, is just so unfortunate. But obviously, they do actually have a backup plan. Now that they've taken this, they can also now take the Dragon, which also now threatens that HH can also now get the Dragon Emblem. It's just, ew, it's gone completely wrong way round for HH.
But this is a 4v4, and I really want to see Hentai Haven pushing for this, because both Bombing Dude and Wakada Chewy are coming up at the same time, but Bombing Dude has TP. He's going to be much more relevant in this fight, much quicker. Can WSLG find the clutcher play once again? Oh, they find a lot of damage. Scatter of the weak. Cocoon misses again, but in goes the Nautilus, finds the damage. Sonic Wave, I think Lancecraft really going. Lamb's Respite coming down. So much output of a damage. Sonic Wave once again going to miss as much as the Blade Caller not going to be able to find anyone. Croft still looking for a way in, but
Bombing?
Bombington looking super aggressive. Gravity field coming out, not enough damage just yet as the dredge line misses smoke. No one has fallen just yet, but look how low Wavy is. He's gonna back. Can he contest for the Drake? You have to think the answer is a no. We've seen the output that Delight has had. Towie trying his best at zoning, but he's getting focused out. Bombing dude goes, but he's not going to be able to do it. Once again, Bauer finds the Drake secure. They find the kill onto Bombing dude as well, and that's another big win for Ward Save Lives.
Ward saves lives. It's been a hell of a few 4 minutes for you lads, but oh my, you have figured out how to open this game up and say, no, don't pay attention to the scoreboard of kills and deaths. That's optional for us. We don't mind about that one. We actually know the real one. It's actually on the map, and we're gonna come and take this fight, steal the Baron, and also take that Dragon Emblem. The one thing I do.
Oh my god, he's stolen a Baron. He's won a fight pretty much single-handedly before, which turned this game around, and then he secures the Drake. Towie goes in. Towie surely will get taken down. I don't see how he survives it. Flash forward, Hammershock will not be able to find his mark. The shutdown goes over to Wavy. I don't know if that's going to be enough to turn the game back over to Hentai Haven, but that is a bigger blow for WSLG, and it means that they do lose one of their Baron split push threats in the side lane. Yourself and the boys will be pushing in the top lane. They'll pick up the inner turret. Is it just one final inner turret remaining? And that's in the bot lane of 4H8. WSLG, how do they play this? Do they push with all their might, or do they play that little bit more patiently and maybe wait for a fight around the Elder or the next Baron?
Yeah, so I do believe probably they want to try and think about that Baron, as it will be coming up about 1:30 before the Elder will be coming up. So that's where they're going to need to prioritize a lot of their resources. The problem is, obviously, now that they have that, what saves lives with the Ocean Drake emblem, they're going to be so good at sustaining through long team fights and hanging around. A big concern and problem that actually happened for Hentai Haven is going into that fight, they had combined across all of them over 5k gold just sitting on them. Ooh. Which means they had a huge gold disadvantage going into that dragon fight, which just meant that War Save Lives were able to just kind of capitalize on that, and that's why they were probably able to push them all.
Yeah, and I want to take a look at items quite quickly because, you know, we talk about there's that Ocean Drake. Towie, so tanky. Croft. Sterex Gage as well with an Ocean. You look at yourself, he's got the Gargoyle Soul Impact with an Ocean. This is such a beefy front line for the side of WSLG. And, you know, despite having the likes of the Lord Dominic's regard for Tracy, can they actually burn through, you know, this massive shield that WSLG will be having?
It's going to be so difficult to get anywhere near Bauer, not just because, obviously, the Xayah Ultimate of Featherstorm, but now, obviously, the Mercurial Scimitar coming in with that Quicksilver Sash. It's going to be so difficult to get on top of their main form of damage overall. Also, with the Victor now coming in, having that Oblivion Orb, plus now having the fully updated, upgraded rather, apologies, perfect hex core, it's just going to be so difficult to kind of hang around for such a long period of time. And the problem is, Hentai Haven just don't have any real dedicated tanks.
And I want to talk about one final item pickup. Tracy, he's gone for the Lord Dominic's regard. The Ocean Soul has been completed. You need to have those grievous wounds, like that Morella Nomicon that Delight has picked up. And I would have liked to see the Mortal Reminder, because now you're going to be having the likes of Bauer healing up a lot. He's got the Mercurial Scimitar, which gives that extra lifesteal, combined with the Bloodline that he has most likely picked up in his rune choice. And then we already talked about, you know, the sustain that these three beefy tanks will be getting for Ward Save's life screen.
Yeah, and we're seeing that obviously a lot of the team is kind of well aware that Baron could be happening, because as we can see, both teams are trying to get vision around that area. It's very difficult for, obviously, HH to actually get deep enough vision. And potentially that's what Ward Save Lives are planning on doing. They're planning on baiting this, really trying to get one of them to come in, and then they can just keep pushing of that side lane. Obviously, Towley, the great thing about it is he can do all of this, just the reverse that was happening for Bombing Dude when he was pushing bot about 10 minutes ago. Now Towley gets to do the opposite to him.
And again, I'm going to the items of Dorkable. He's gone for the Sunfire Cape. I want to see him with more peel items, you know, to help Tracy along. You know, we talked about how Tracy's going to be so big in this late game. You know, get the Ziggs, get the Knights Vow, give more protection for your hyper carry ADC. Oh, Wakata, Chewy might be looking for something yourself. Goes in, they find the route onto the thighs, and Elise has been blown up. He's like a spider that has been slapped on a wall. Bombing Dude gets taken down. Croft goes back in. The Zonyas gets used. The Dorkable. He can buy time, but it will be nothing. Oh, the Elise Power finds the kill. That's power out of it, but it doesn't matter because WSLG are wiping through Hentai Haven. It's down, and it will just be delight on the faces of a WSLG as they will now look to push in the top and the mid waves. It is only Tracy who remains standing. Elder Drake in 39 seconds. Hentai Haven need to be up for the Elder Drake. They need to be able to fight and contest it, because if they don't, this game is 100% going over to Ward Saves the Lives.
I'm a little bit confused that they just didn't take that dragon. I'm guessing maybe they just thought they didn't have enough damage, but obviously we're only seeing Wavy now actually revive, and it would have still taken him at least another 10-15 seconds to head over to that dragon, or that Baron rather. So I think they could have definitely taken Baron in this period of time and then potentially rotated around to this Elder Drake.
Towie is getting collapsed on by Bombing Dude. The Elder is about to get started up by WSLG. Towie buying time for his team. A hammer shot comes down. Bombing Dude still on the chase. The rest of Hentai Haven are trying to chase after the Bombing Dude instead of going after the Elder Drake. Bombing Dude has a TP available. So does Towie. Towie's still on the run. But look at the Ocean Soldiers healing Towie up. Now, Hentai Haven have given up. But Wavy Lad knows that he needs to go. He needs to find the steal. We've seen the Bower secure a Drake. Can Wavy find the steal? He goes in. The repel. Is it too early? It's blown up. And once again, it's a Bower who secures the objective.
This man just seems to have the smite just built into him without even having it. It's kind of wild. Like, you just don't expect that. What?
Croft still has his smite up. What is this now? Towie, he's in a very aggressive place. Oh, the dashboard not going to lock Tracy onto a wall, but the Elder has been secured. Yourself, he finds the hook. Here comes the output of damage. It's so much. Oh, the Elder Shock won't do enough, but will Tracy heal enough? No, he will not. He gets taken down. It's a full-on dive. The Infinite Duress comes through. Yourself gets taken down, but it doesn't matter. It's the double kill going over to Towie. And now WSL Green can push in the bot lane. You'll think that this is the end of the series, but it is only game one. 2 more games of this to come your way, folks. Inhibitor number 1 will get secured, but WSLG are still on the chase. The collapse on the turret, loads of damage on the tower. Will they find the kill? No, they will not. Hammer shot forward, not going to be able to find anything. The hook lands, and that's Wavy down. 4 members. It's only a Dorkable left, but he is not going to be able to defend. 1 Nexus turret down. The second Nexus turret will fall, and this is going to be game 1 going over towards Safe Lives Green.
Wow, well played by both teams, honestly. That was definitely a damn good game from them, and it definitely puts HH in a spot where if they can just figure out a way of closing that game, they could have definitely taken that one. So definitely some good stuff to think about reflective-wise throughout it. Even though they did lose, they did actually have a good shot.
Yeah, wow. My mind is just blown right now. Bower, he stepped up so many times, and you know, if that Baron didn't get secured by him in that fight,
yeah,
I mean, we'd still be casting right now, I think.
Or it would have already gone the opposite way. Hentai
Yes.
Haven would have probably have just snowballed from that point. But actually Bauer stealing it basically kind of opened the door for them to actually get that Ocean Drake. And because of them getting that Ocean Drake, then obviously Towley was able to sustain so long for such a long period of time while the rest of the team tried to kill him instead of getting that Elder Drake. And then because of that, they were able to keep going forward. And that was just kind of the way. But Bauer has the smite built into him. Maybe Zaya's got a secret smite I need to look into. Like, I'm not quite sure.
I don't know. Righto, please fix a Bauer. I don't know about you, Mars Swan, but my face is purple. I need some water. I need a break. Guys, that was an insane game 1. We'll be right back after a few minutes break with a game number 2 between Hentai Haven and Ward Saves Live Green. Don't go anywhere.
drifting to places I should leave. So close to the edge of something so perfect. We were too scared to take the leap. I'm missing the way we used to be. Let me go. Let me in this mess I'm falling. Never know. Can't find a reason why. Couldn't get any closer. Can't find a reason why. Couldn't get any closer. Can't find a reason why. Couldn't get any closer. We couldn't get any closer. Try to forget all that we had. I'm rolling like water in the sea. The memories crashing in.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. I hope you've had enough of a break. I most certainly have not. Master One, you might have to take over for me a few times because I'm still kind of panting. I'm still kind of dying after that game one because that was absolutely insane.
That was definitely a bloodbath. Both sides didn't want to back down in any of the team fights, fighting over Barons, Elder Drakes to a point. And after the 10-minute mark, as we were saying off screen, they really thought about actually fighting a lot more often. They just wanted to pick fights just cause.
Yeah, why not? So Hentai Haven, they pulled out the cheese comp. It kind of worked, and then it kind of didn't. Heading into game 2, do they go for the cheese once again, or do they take something a little less mature?
I would like to hope they would do something a bit more sensible. I won't know. I have no idea if they're going to, but I would like them to. Now, obviously, liking and wanting is completely different things so far.
Yeah.
We'll have to see. We'll have to see. I do know that their AD carry can play a lot more than just then yeah. So they totally can pull out like multiple different things. So let's see where they go in. So far, all these bans have been pretty standard that we talked about from previous round. I'm not too surprised to see basically no changes here so far.
Yeah, and I have an example of the difference between a like and a want. So just remind me to get back into that after the end of the draft because we're seeing that Leona ban away, the Ari again. I would like to see I wanted to see Flario on his Lux, but it is Delight, the ADC, who's moving into that mid lane. Once again, yourself will be playing on that Nautilus, and I'm interested to see how Hentai Haven look to answer, this Nautilus pick, and it looks like it's going to be the Lulu.
So Lulu did get buffed in 10.2, but it was to a point where I don't actually think it's relevant. It was a tiny increase.
It's a funnel.
Okay.
Or is this a side effect of seeing Sona Soraka top lane and now Hentai Haven say, hey, guess what? We can play Yuumi top. It's definitely the Yuumi top, right? Not Lulu.
So this is probably Lulu top now and Yuumi support, which now means I don't think the buffs that did come onto Lulu were enough to really make her viable. I would have much rather just seen Soraka or even still Sona. I think both of them are still fine in the top lane. Soraka is obviously still seen play in professional play, so I would have probably leaned that direction. But potentially, Bombing Dude just has a lot more familiarity with Lulu top from back in the day.
Can we just look at the very more real threat of an aftermath of Soraka Sona bot and now seeing a Lulu Yuumi as a duo bot lane?
Yeah, I'm not worried for Ward Saves Live. I'm really hoping to see like that funnel that you actually suggested earlier. A funnel would actually make a lot more sense, putting it on someone like an Olaf.
It is a funnel. It has to be a funnel.
Work. So are we gonna see a Tarek somewhere as well for the full shebang? Like just fully going for it.
I mean, I would have liked to see a Twitch. If I remember correctly, we were looking and someone did play Twitch.
Yes.
But I just want to praise for a second WSLG because, you're in rough, you're in the heat of the moment. You don't have a lot of time to think about things. I love what they have picked up so far into what is a funnel. You've got the Nautilus, you've got the Zai, you've got the J4. This is a lot of burst onto the Lulu or Yuumi, and we know once Yuumi gets CC'd, there is a 4-second delay before the you and me is back up and she can jump onto someone. That Nautilus Zai are going to absolutely obliterate her if they ever get a chance, and Nautilus just flash auto, that is a Yuumi dead 100%.
I do question a little bit. I understand the karma ban. She actually did get buffed in 10.3. 10.2. No, it was 10.2 actually. So I do actually think the ban coming out, even as you can see, the funnel is happening. I think the karma ban's totally viable, total fine mid laner, other than Oriana, who I would actually like as the other ban here for wards. But makes sense. Obviously, the Poppy makes sense. Obviously, we saw Towley play that last game. Oh, the Warwick. Sure, why not?
Okay. I just want to put out one thing. and I'm kind of disappointed Hentai Heaven haven't banned this. Wakada Chewy, I want to see him on the Lissandra. I want to see this hard CC against the Yi as, oh my god, that is a
Okay.
Soraka that has been
So
locked in. Please
Soraka.
save me.
So okay. So Soraka top, Lulu mids, Yumi support. Yumi
This
the true
doesn't work.
support. Their AD carry is going to be someone that like is a hyper carry like Vayne or something. So they have
But there
just
is
double
no
hyper carry.
AP in this comp then.
I mean, Soraka builds AP off. Yumi
But
AP.
does it count?
Lulu AP.
Oh,
Oh, I love this Oriana.
yeah.
Oh, that's such a
I
smart pickup. The J4 Oriana combo is just so good with the Nautilus. They have so much engage, but also disengage. Oh, this Ornn's so good.
I'm sorry, can we just write down the scoreline right here? Because unless there is some miracle of God, and there is a champion that we don't know exists here that can be picked
I
up for Hentai Have, I don't see any way around it. And this
I said the
Morgana,
Taric earlier, but
I mean Tarek, Janna, they both work as a funnel with Yi, but they need this CC.
they should put another. They need another. I don't know.
No,
I don't
Morgana's
know.
not gonna work.
I'm.
This is so bad. Like, okay, so my first thing I want to point out is the
Yep.
Morgana pick. So Hentai Haven have
Oh
essentially
my
gone,
god! It's actually
hey,
the Yumi
look,
mid.
I was talking to you about this, but I'll
Oh
get into
wait.
that in a second. We've got until the 20-second mark before
They're still
people can
swapping.
switch their
Yeah.
picks. So Morgana, I can kind of understand. It's like that similar kind of principle when you have a Tristana. When you have a Morgana, you put the black shield. Tristana just has that confidence to jump in and doesn't die. And it's a kind of similar thing with a Taric. You put the black shield on the Yi, and the Yi can't get CC down. But it's a similar thing as with Olaf Ragnarok. You can't get CC'd, but that ain't gonna let you run out of a cataclysm.
Yeah, and part of the problem here is also that I would have really liked actually to have seen HH pick up the Oriana, because then you can still
Yeah.
funnel with Oriana, which is the normal mid lane pickup normally for when you're trying to funnel. You pick Oriana, you can give shield, you can put the ult down, you probably win a lot of fights just because of that. I also really don't like Yi, mostly because I think someone like Olaf is far more beneficial for an actual trying to build around a composition and kind of really funnel. But you also have backup plans because when you funnel into Olaf, you don't have to go fully in on the funnel for Olaf. You can actually reflect it back into other stuff. It's like this Lulu pickup. If this Lulu was an actual AD carry like a Twitch, like you were saying, or maybe someone like a Lucian, obviously they have more options to go into. I would have actually minded someone like an Ashe, because at least Ashe still allows you to build into this AD, but then also you still have a stun ultimate.
I mean, can we just are we just going to completely gloss over the support ADC that is Senna? I mean, it's still terrible, but
I mean, sure. I mean, I think Senna AD did get slightly. Oh no, it's coming in, isn't it? It's 10.4. So that's
yeah.
yeah.
I mean,
She's still very strong. You should just play her. Yeah.
There's the other entire pick. We were saying that you need AP. Syndra APC. We've been seeing Cassiopeia going into the APC role.
Yeah.
This just feels forced. And I mean, I've been playing Funnel with a friend recently. We've been going Tariki, and the issue is
That's legit though.
it's legit, but there's still an issue, which is the fact that if you can't come mid lane and get a significant advantage, if you can't shove in that mid lane, it becomes so much harder to get that mid lane support to roam around with you and support you in your endeavors. And when you've got that in 3 lanes, all 3 lanes are going to be losing, with the exception of top lane because Soraka top is just disgusting. But
Yes.
every other
Especially
lane is
versus
going to be
Ornn.
losing. Yeah. So every other lane is going to be losing, i.e. mid and bot. And the Yi's just going to have no assistance at all. And I actually think the Jarvan is just going to have so much fun with the Yi. And even when you get to the later stages of this funnel, sure, you've got the Black Shield, but the Oriana will just burst through it instantly. And then, well, Nautilus will just press this button that is called R and you will die.
Well, the other thing is, the great thing that the other team can do is because they've got someone like Ornn, J4, and Nautilus, they have so much engage into the other champions. A funnel actually involves 4 other champions, obviously.
Yeah.
These champions are great at just going, yeah, okay, yeah, that's fine. You're going to probably attack Ornn or J4 because J4 ultimate says you have to stay here for this period of time. The rest of the team can collapse, kill the rest of the funneling champs, and then he's just sat there with nobody around him, dies, and then Ward Saves Lives just kind of take it. I'm really confused why they really aggressively went for like this Lulu first pick. Yeah.
Um, it's
Yeah. We're
like
both.
there's just no words because you look at something like the Yi funnel and it's great late game because the Yi's got all of these items. He just burns through everyone. He's got so much life steal, but WSL Green have just answered this fantastically with the Ornn. Those empowered items. You've got the likes of the J4 Cataclysm. Sure, it doesn't actually lock the Yi down because unlike something like an Olaf, he can just use the Alpha Strike to get him out, but it's still going to massively limit him in terms of what he can do. And just a little bit of lifesteal, a couple of grievous wounds, just that execution is calling. And that Soraka heal, the Lulu heal, the Yumi heal is going to be less effective. And sure, it's a case of, oh, you guys might have grievous wounds, but look, we have 20 million healing on our team. I don't actually think it's going to matter because the brains of this is not okay. Yi's coming in on us. How do we fight this? It's not okay. Let's just all fight on Yi while he gets healed up. It's let's just press Zai presses Q. Oh wait, that's Yumi dead. Zai does another auto attack, presses Z. Oh wait, that's a Lulu dead. Ornn gets a brittle proc off. Oh wait, that's Soraka dead. And all of a sudden, it's a Yi with no support in the middle of 5 people.
And this is also on the assumption that the rest of the team don't just get strong. This is just on the assumption that the rest of the
Yeah.
team are in very normal to standard situations, and Yi's the only one that's able to get ahead. That's not how League of Legends works. There are 5 players on both teams, Power or Chewy, at all slightly somewhat get ahead. It's kind of all over for Wavy.
Yeah, and it's there is no way this bot lane wins. This okay, this might be an exaggeration, but I have to say it. This is the worst bot lane I've ever seen being drafted, and this is compared to a Senna. What was it? A Senna Yumi that I saw getting drafted a while back because I feel like Lulu can work a little bit better than Senna in terms of self peel.
I mean, I do agree with you to some point. I mean, oh my, just looking very quickly at the item pickups before even the champions are even on the rift. J4, so that is Craft, Chewy, and Bauer all using stopwatch, which makes
Yep.
total sense, as they should do. But now, what do they do in this kind of scenario?
Yeah, and I feel like the most irritating thing for me watching this is we had just seen a game one that was super close, right? It had us on the edge of our seats right to the end, and now it feels like Hentai Haven have been like, okay, we don't care about like it. It just feels like okay, the series is over. Now we're just gonna do this to have some fun. But when a series is so close, I would have liked to see them, eke it out to that very end.
Yeah, I, I mean, we've done about 5 minutes of talking about how we just don't see this ever working, but now we've actually kind of set the stage. If Hentai Haven can pull this off, that's a hell of a thing to turn around and say. That's definitely some big brain play from them if they're able to pull this off. But then obviously, all going into game 3, WSLG, all they do is they just ban Yi and Olaf and just go, it's fine. Right?
Yeah.
I'm just. It seems to be we are on pause because there was a bug slap for one of the players on the side of WSLG, so that's why we're just waiting at the moment.
And okay, if we do like a child and we take our hands and right, so I want you to do this, Moss Swan, and I want you to
Okay.
do this, everyone at home, right? So what I want you to do is I want you to take your hand and put it over the left hand side of the screen and over the right hand side of the screen, so you can't see any of the champions. And what I
Okay.
want you to
Yep.
do is I want you to slowly go down, right? So you see
Yep.
there's an Ornn versus Soraka. This is
Yep.
great for Hentai Haven. They win this. Now you go down
Yep.
again and you see Yi and Jarvan, and you're like, okay, we don't really see Yi as
Uh,
competitive, but it's acceptable. Then you go down again, you see Morgana into Oriana, and you're like, okay, we've seen Morgana mid, but it's a lot of AP, but this is kind of alright. Then you drop your hand all the way to the bottom and you're like, oh my god, what am I looking at?
yeah, this bot lane is arguably the most concerning part of this whole team comp. They're
Yeah.
basically playing 2 players without another 2, and as we can see, both teams are grouped,
Yeah,
but
and
opposite sides.
I really want to watch this bot lane because The, I'm going to stress this. This is not a case of, you know, if HH play this well, they can maybe get to the late game and win. This is a case of if Bao and yourself do not play well, HH have a 10% chance of maybe doing something this game. And I just want to watch this bot lane because you remember before I came live, we came live, I was talking to you about how as a Leona, when you play into a center, you can take something aggressive, go the domination with something like a cheap shot or Hex Flash. This is exactly what yourself needs to do because a Hex Flash forward and they go onto a Lulu, there's going to be nothing that a Yumi can do to just stop the consistent burst of damage coming out from the Xayah Nautilus, and there's just no way that they survive. The Yumi's taken heal, and so is Tracy. Go exhaust and ignite. So it's okay. I'm going to stop discussing this bot lane and let's just watch it unfold in front of us.
Yeah, I mean, the other problem I also have now, reflecting upon it, but I just think it was something that WSLG did do that was rather intelligent, honestly, is a champion like Orianna is very good at punishing Yi when he tries to come in to pick up a wave.
Yeah.
So it's just an extra thing. It's all these extra against the comp of Hentai Haven.
Yeah, and I would have actually liked to see a Twitch. I feel like the Twitch could have worked better than a Yi, just because the Yi doesn't have to be in the middle of everyone, and can just poke. But
or both.
See,
so you actually have a bait.
Oh, good flash. But I mean, that's already the flash down now for Delight, and Craft will just keep on coming back and just making sure there is no way for Wavy Lad to have any real impact around this mid lane.
Yeah, and I mean, Chewy's gonna get their ult before Delight gets 6. So huge kill pressure is gonna be in them very early on.
And here we go. Adorable has to be careful that he doesn't get hit by the dredge line. And to be honest, Bao and yourself just need to be freezing this wave. They can just deny so much away from Tracy and Adorable, and yourself looking aggressive. We'll step a little bit back before going for the dredge line. Now they land the dredge line. Out comes the Feathers. Blade Caller as well.
Oh my god.
But it doesn't find the CC. And if that CC had landed, that would have been Tracy dead 100%.
Yeah, I mean, Tracy they do have double heal, remember? So potentially they might have been able to just barely survive. Obviously, heal on heal does not stack brilliantly.
Yeah, and the healing halves for a second heal as Delight just getting poked out in this mid lane and being well played by Wakada. Chewy as in the top lane, Bombing Dude getting focused down, and this is what happens when you have a Yi jungler. You have no pressure, and Bombing Dude just getting clapped down. The first blood goes over to Craft.
And that's really good for them. The other thing that's also relevant to remember is that Towley and Bombing Dude already are equal in CS. Well, now Towley's going to get some extra time to get more CS, which is not what's meant to happen. Orin's meant to be getting pushed out for like about till level 6 until they actually gain some kill pressure on the Soroka. And even then, Soroka has silence, so she just goes, it's fine. I don't mind. You can try. I silence you. Let's just redo this again.
Yeah, and this J4 is just going to be camping the top side. Delight getting poked down by the Black Shield, just provides enough of a magic barrier to keep Delight alive. And Wakada, you can understand why he's gone for the cleanse, just for that extra bit of protection. So I'm not going to comment too much on that. I would have liked maybe to see a bit more aggression, but fully understand that defensive choice.
Well, I think the idea that they're taking is, if they do happen to get this one, we can just stay. But if they don't get it, if they're not able to get this working, well, we don't get punished regardless.
Oh no, here comes Craft again in the top lane, and it's just going to be repeat gank after a repeat gank. Another kill over to Craft, and I think that's a plan for WSLG. Give all the kills over to Craft so that eventually he can just come bot, drop the Cataclysm on Tracy and Adorable, and they will just die.
Well, and I mean, the other thing is now that Bombing Dude doesn't even have the TP to come in. So now he's just even further behind. So it's
Tracy,
like,
this is very aggressive. Has to be careful. The Ignite, will it get dropped? No, not just yet. Yourself gets poked down a bit. Bauer's pretty low in their health department, but completely winning in the CS game.
Yeah, and I mean, that does have... I mean, when you do have...
another Dredger line. Ignite, will it come through? Bauer just being careful. And Bauer just doesn't want to commit right now.
Yeah, I mean, Tracy and Adorable are going to be able to have very good sustain in lane for obvious reasons. because having that heal from the zoomies, obviously Lulu has shields built in. It's very hard for Bauer to kind of have anywhere near that same
Bauer?
sustain.
Has to be careful. Flash Q from Tracy could pick up the kill. Dredge line under turret, but they have already found the kill. The ignite will be dropped, but it won't do enough. And Bauer, he had to heal and flash up as well. And that's a bit of a question mark moment.
I'm not 100% sure what killed him there.
It was the Lulu Q. So what Tracy did is he keyed onto yourself to place picks on yourself, and then he queued from yourself to get the kill. I'm pretty sure that's how he played it.
That's how that worked, because it did almost seem like it came out of nowhere.
Yeah.
Q, so that would actually make a lot.
Precisely so, and you know, in this jungle matchup, you know, you're playing funnel, you want Wavy to be ahead, but because Kratos has been picking up these 3 kills on top side, just because he can do this and know that there's going to be no answer that Wavy can provide mid because Wakada has this cleanse, no answer that they can provide bot. He's now ahead, he's got a Caulfield Warhammer extra over Wavy, despite being about, you know, 5 CS behind.
Yeah, and I mean, they're very equal in gold down at bot lane. I mean, relatively speaking, it does seem to be slightly favoring Bauer for about 200 equal. The difference is the power spikes. Obviously, Bauer has just gone back and got a longsword, which means Tracy is always going to be outdamaged. Even with the lost chapters, it's almost irrelevant. The BF sword with the Nautilus is just in theory, that's a kill lane.
And from now, Bauer should be in complete control of this. Yourself will look for something. Craft is here, needs to try to sneak into the lane bushes. Wavy just trying to get through his Raptors right now, and Towie, you know, he's picked up a couple of assists, so he's just happy just to poke down bombing a little bit. And as soon as that level 6 picked up from yourself, it's going to be that full-on engage.
I do want to compliment Delight. They are they're equal or just slightly beating Chewy at the moment in that mid lane on CS. So I mean, it's not going terrible in the mid lane or the bot lane. Obviously, while they are sadly 30 CS, that kill basically does help kind of even it out a little bit.
This is not looking good. Bot lane, Dredge line. Oh, it lands, I think. Flash away from Tracy, but that's the flasher down yourself. Will he look to turn this around? No, not just yet, but Tracy has to be careful because there's very short cooldown on the Dredge line.
I don't think I've ever seen Nautilus's Q go work that way.
It looked really weird, and my screen froze as well when that happened, which made it even weirder.
I think there was like at the Dredge line, I think it landed, but like I rewatched it on the cast and it was
Did it hit
the exact
wall?
same happened on my
flasher forward, auto Dredge line will land on top. Here comes a Craft, not even needed for the kill, but he'll take the kill regardless. As the Rift Herald is getting started up, will there be any way for Ward Saves Lives to contest? Wakada 2 makes his way, but Black Shield will deny the shockwave, and now Wavy looks aggressive, looks for Wakada. Wakada will flash over the wall, and Wavy will not be able to alpha strike in responses. More and more turret plates going over to the sides of Ward Saves Alive. 3 kills to 1, 9.5 minutes in, and a 2k gold advantage.
And I'm also trying to think, they're taking this Rift Herald, but where are they going to actually place Rift? Like, what lane are they going to benefit from? Are they going to put it down the bot lane? I'm just, oh my god, they're still doing it? Oh, it reset!
Yeah. As Tracy already taking some damage from a Blade Caller, has to be careful because yourself will just go right back in. He has a depth charge available, and he has gone for that Hex Flash. He just needs... This is, I mean, I just feel that WSLG are not playing the lane as optimally as they could. If they just freeze the wave that little bit more, they just deny so much gold from Tracy. I mean, to be fair, it's a 40 CS advantage for Bao. He's going to be getting a Flame Horizon soon if Tracy's not careful. So, but top lane, Call of the Forge God coming through will not find the knock-up, and it does mean that Craft will not be able to find the Cataclysm.
Yeah, and we're now getting to the spot. Everyone's just kind of resetting. Everyone's just kind of trying to figure out and try and work their build as much. But obviously, we haven't actually seen Wavy Lad do much. And that's part of the problem with these funnel comps.
Yeah, and usually you see something. If you see a turret Yi, the Yi comes, pushes in the wave, gets the CS from Delight. That hasn't happened all game. Delight hasn't given any
No.
CS over to this Yi. But we'll hold that thought because in the top lane, Flag and Drag will find the knockup instant onto the Cataclysm. The Wish will buy sometime, but a great stopwatcher from Kraft, and they alternate the CC beautifully. Adorkable finds the kill onto yourself as out comes the Featherstorm. Can they find the Blade Caller? It's the too early. Wavy will take some damage. Another turret shot. Is it enough? Yes, it is. Another flash forward. They look for Tracy. That's a good polymorph, but do they have the damage? Blade Caller not going to be able to come through. Oh, they find the pick, and now it's just Adorkable left. He's going to get run down by Bauer, who is on the chase, but Adorkable will be able to survive. 2 kills going over to the side of Hentai Haven, but it is going to be Ward Saves Lives Green who come out completely on top.
That was amazingly played by Bauer. Obviously, Wavy just went far too deep for that kill and got punished, but then the rest of the team also got punished for that exact same reason. Wow, that was really well played by Bauer. I really do want to credit them with how well they played on that one. But now they're going to go back and get even more items and hit that power spike even sooner, which just means it's going to be even harder for Yi to really come into this. And obviously, you just have to start looking at level advantages. Wavy Lad is at level 6 still. Bowser and Wakanda...
Wavy's
Wakanda,
level
Chewie,
6.
Kraft is
level 8.
Towley's 9. Levels... The Light's 9. Bombing Dude even, sadly, getting repeatedly dove by Kraft is still a higher level.
Yeah. And the Rift Round is going to get dropped on the bot side. Kraft should make his way. Wavy Dad might look for something. Dredgeline lands, but here comes Wavy as the Wild Growth will come through, and it is just going to be Shelly getting off a charge, but this won't even be a turret, and Kraft is on his way down. Yourself does have the depth charge. Oh, the Blade Caller lands, Flag and Drag. Oh, the flash to extend the range. Tracy is down, and now potentially they could look for Wavy, but WSLG will not get overly aggressive. They have an Ocean Drake spawning in just a couple of seconds time. Delight taking a couple of turret shots as well. He gets taken down pretty low, and just WSLG are winning in every lane with the exception of mid, which is, the one decent lane that, WSLG have drafted, and is also the lane that Kraft just hasn't gone to.
But even then, that's just the equal lane. And they can, and Chewie is arguably the one player on their team he doesn't need to worry about. He can just let Chewie do their thing, because Chewie will very easily outscale Delight every time.
Wavy, final chapter's coming through. Wavy looking aggressive. The Jarvan not on his way down. And here comes the Lulu as well. Bauer has to be careful. The Highlander will get proc. Yourself needs to find a CC. He will be able to find the CC. Dredge a line on top. He has the depth charge. No, he does not. Flashes away. Tracy's not going to be able to land the Glitterlon. And they both survive. Tracy gets a lockdown. And that's the kill for Bauer. And it just doesn't matter what Hentai Haven do.
Me too. Nah, Bauer and yourself feel like that's actually, it's us versus you, and we are gonna win that one. Tracy, I do feel bad because they had such a good start, relatively speaking, but just can't get it going. Wavy tried to camp, but even then, now even in a 3v2.
No, Bombing Dude in the top lane. Call of the Forge God will land. Here comes Kraft. Flag and Drag, the knock-up. Bombing Dude is down, and another kill for Ward saves. Like, they don't even need wards to save their lives this game.
I mean, potentially that was also very well played by, obviously, Towley and Kraft. If they had timers on Bombing Dude's flash, they knew he didn't have that up, which just meant they can go for this really hard engage, get this tower, and just keep going for it.
Okay, now my question to you is,
at
what time is WSLG going to win this game?
Ah, yes. Okay, so we're on to that kind of conversation. Okay.
Yes.
I agree with you too, sir. I agree. If Wavy had the 2 kills, I think it'd be a different story. But, with only 1 assist, I do think it's going to be rather difficult. I think it's actually going to be drawn out to a 30-minute game.
Okay, 30 minutes. So I also want to point something else out. This is nothing related to the length of the game, but that X splash was close. However, Delight, he's going for what is it called? The Hextech GLP, but he has not gone for the oh, what's it called now? Glacial Augment Rune Path. And I feel like that is a missed opportunity for Delight. I don't think it would have changed the
huge.
game, but I think that catch potential would have been so much better for Hentai Hay.
I mean, yeah, no, I think going the Hexa Flash. No, Hexa Flash.
Glacial Augment.
Glacial.
Hexa GLP.
Yeah, would have made far more sense, obviously, for that extra flash. But even then, I'm less sold. Is that just so you can stay on the Yi for longer? But now their carry is arguably Tracy, because they've got more kills.
No, their carry is adorkable, 100%.
I mean, Delight is level 10 and hasn't died or got a kill or assist.
Oh, here we go. Highlanders coming in as the Soul Shackles come through, but Delight, Wish buys some time. The Depth Charge gets channeled regardless. The Wish comes in, and now I am Towie in the middle of a fight. He's going to get taken down. Flash is used anyway, but look in the side lane. Wakata Chewie is just pushing as the WSLG just don't even care about this. Shelly is pushing. It will get a charge onto the inner turret, and Hentai Haven are going to have to respond to it.
Yeah, and it's kind of they traded basically a kill for half of bot turret. Oh no. I'm actually looking, and almost the full turret. Bot turret is almost gone.
Yeah, in fact, it might just die to the minions potentially.
Yeah,
the big wave coming.
Trace real quick to potentially save.
Sorry, you cut out for me for a second there, Master Swan.
I was just agreeing with you.
Okay.
It's okay.
17 minutes in. It's surprisingly only an 8k gold advantage for the side of
only
Ward Saves,
8k
right?
at 17
only
minutes.
8k. I was expecting more like 10k right now. I wasn't expecting Craft to get this far ahead of Wavy Lad. I was just expecting this entire lead to be more on Bao. And to be fair, he has a lead, but I was actually expecting it to be a little bit more at this stage, not gonna lie.
But now Kraft is starting, because he's got this 2-level advantage now over Wavy. He's now very confident that he can even 1v1 Wavy, which means now just jungle, which now means Wavy has nothing to funnel onto himself.
Oh, Delight, the Black Shield will come through. Cataclysm on top, the stopwatch will come in. But yourself is here, the flash out. Dark Binding misses his mark, but look at the damage output onto Bombing Dude. Here comes Wavy with the Highlander. The Wild Growth on top, he's going to get CC down, but the final chapter buys us some time. Wakata Chewie getting taken down low. Wavy will find the kill onto Wakata, and yourself will get taken down, but this time it's Towie who's pushing in the top lane, and he's going to be able to find the turret, maybe not as a TP coming in from Bombing Dude, but you know, the only issue here from WSLG is the fact that they're not grouping, they're allowing Hentai Haven this opportunity to find the picks. It's so unnecessary,
Yeah,
just group up as 5.
Yeah, or aggressively take these objectives. Like,
Yeah.
you can take it, just take all objectives, don't let Wavy or the side of HH to take any of this, and then you can very comfortably just go, well, it's fine, we can get all.
Kraft will be looking for the steal. He's ahead in levels. Here we go, flag and drag. He can't find the steal, and now Kraft might have just sealed his fate. He gets polymorphed down. He can't even flash, and that is another kill for Wavy Lad. Are we actually witnessing Hentai Haven coming back into this game, Mask Swan?
I mean, 3 minutes ago you asked me the question when I thought it was going to end, and I said 30 minutes. This was when Wavy at that point had 1 and 1. He's now, or they're now rather, well, I'm guessing he because it's a lad. 3-1, and they've just they've just picked up their huge first big item of really start chaining through this
aggressing. The Prowling projectile. Beltwater Cutlass buys some time, and now the Alpha Strike on top. Feather Storm and the Blade Core. They find the kill, and now it's just going to be all WSLG. They find another. They find a third. Sorry, that's the fourth, and there's the fifth. It's a double kill for the Orn. It's a double kill for Bauer, and now WSLG will just push forward. That was a 4v5 as well, may I add. As soon as
Yeah,
they find
Kraft,
their CC
Kraft wasn't
onto the
anywhere near
Yeet, and he's the most fed member of the team.
that. Once they got rid of Wavy, the rest of the team just doesn't have any form of follow-up. So what are they meant? And this is something I actually hinted at within Champ Select when we're in our waiting period. It's like, what can they do? They can't chase, so what are they able to do in that spot? Well, they don't have any follow-up. They just have to pray that Wavy Lad gets these pickups, which they had been doing. But they have to find the picks. They can't just go for the picks.
And I feel like this is what will happen whenever there is a group fight and WSLG have any one of their two Fed members, being Kraft or Bauer. Bauer preferably, he's got an Infinity Edge and he's got an Essence Reaper. He's going to absolutely melt through Wavy. Sure, you can have, you know, the CC denial from the Morgana. You can have the heals, but it's going to be so much damage output coming through.
The really important thing is to still look at that level. Probably going to hit level 12 before Wavy hits level 11, which means there's still going to be this 2-level difference in the junglers, which just shouldn't happen when you've got someone like Wavy who should be already level 13, potentially pushing level. But we've now even with Hentai Haven starting to come into this, they're going to need a slight miracle.
And because of the comp that Hentai Haven have gone for, it means that there's no Knight's Vow, there's no Zeke's Convergence for Wavy Lad. It's just Ardents, just stacking on top of each other, which I don't even think they can stack. So, I don't see what the purpose, like, I don't see why a Dorko... Oh, Highlander final chapter, they're going to look for... Oh, that's a Dark Binding will land. Wavy Land finds one. The Highlander is ticking down. Out comes the Featherstorm. They find the CC. Breakcore will land more. Wavy gets one more Alpha. Is it enough? He's burning down. And the Wuju Sons will not be enough. A Dredgeline lands, but the but the Black Shield will buy enough time. In the top lane, Wakada Chewy is just pushing. In the bot lane, I Am Towie is just pushing. That was a 3v5, and WSLG still came out on top. They don't respect this Yi. They don't need to respect the Yi. 1 inhibitor down, 2 inhibitors down, 3 inhibitors down. Now it's just the Nexus turret. Waiting not up for another 10 seconds. The shockwave land. Do they have the damage for bombing? No, they do not. 1 Nexus turret down. The 3rd inhibitor will fall. And surely this is the game. Wavy has one last chance to prove his mettle. You called him a lad, but he's just been hooked to oblivion. Call of the Forge God comes in, will get knocked back, will not find anyone. But does it matter? No, it does not. Hentai Haven, they put up a good showing in game 1, but game 2 has been all ward safe live, and they pick up the 2-0 clean sweep.
GG, well played by both teams, but that looked like Ward Saves Lives want to make a statement to everybody watching them. They're like, we can play this. We're half decent at League of Legends. Like, I mean, we can play this game. We know how to.
Oh, precisely so. And I mean, you know, after game 1, I was so excited. I was excited for the game. My throat was thinking, oh no, here we go again. And then Hentai Haven said, you know what, Milky, we love you. Here you go.
they put some spam ping question marks across you and were like, don't worry, we got you. That was how do I put that? I got the time wrong. That's for sure. It was 23:35 at the end, so off my 30 minutes. I thought it was going to be strung out a lot longer, but
I do want to ask.
Yeah.
MVP.
I think Bauer, right? Bauer has to on this Xayah. Like, so good. So many very important, practically potentially saved the game for them in game 1, stealing that Baron. And then game 2 was very important, was killing this Yi as fast as possible. And once the Yi was dead, the fight just was over for Hentai. Like, they couldn't do anything about it.
Yeah, and Game one, I 100% agree. Bao. Game two, I think the MVP of this particular game was Kraft, but
Yes.
across the whole series, I agree. I think it does go to Bauer. And sure, he didn't exactly have a difficult game two, but
Well, I mean, he
with the
died to the Lulu, right?
with heal up, yeah. But
Yeah.
aside from that, it was all right.
It was pretty good. I mean, yourself definitely performed very importantly. He got some
Oh, thank
very
you.
good. I mean, yes, you as well, but yourself, Milky, but also yourself, V2. I think played very well. Every time Wavy tried to come in and the Black Shield was down, he always landed the Dredge Vine as well as the Nautilus Ard, which is blanking my head, even though I play him basically every day. But it's a button to me, so I'm an uncultured swine in that sense, I guess.
Well, it's been both of our first times casting in Valence League. I've had an absolute blast. What about you, Master One?
This was phenomenal. I really hope I get a opportunity. This was so much fun, really, to both these teams perform.
Yeah, absolutely crazy. Hentai Haven versus Wards Saves Lives Green, and it was a WSLG who picked up the 2-0 clean sweep. And I'm just going to double check this one because we're going to be back on a Thursday. Counterfeit and Byron Villa will be taking you through Plague versus Phoenix. But that is all that we have time for tonight. From myself and Mask Swan, we wish you a pleasant evening. Stay tilt-proof on the Rift, and good night.